They're big, bold, and in your face. Today, Health Canada announced new anti-smoking strategy. The idea is to put new warning labels on cigarette packages. The photos are striking, even shocking, and that's the point. One shows a cancer patient on her deathbed. Others highlight the dangers of secondhand smoke. The issue of warning labels flared up earlier this month when CBC News investigated Health Canada's apparent decision to scrap the labels after lobbying from the tobacco industry. So, did the government cave to pressure? Leslie McKinnon is following the story from Ottawa. Leslie.
Anne-Marie, many feared the government had turned its back on warning Canadians about smoking. Today they say these new labels are better late than never.
The warning labels will be larger and will feature new and disturbing messages about smoking and the diseases it causes.
The new health warnings will cover 75% of the front and the back of the cigarettes packages.
The fact that a major portion of the package is now being taken for these warnings is a huge step forward.
It's not that labels on cigarette packages now aren't gruesome, but they're 10 years old. And Health Canada's own research shows smokers gradually learn to ignore them. The government developed new label prototypes, but then, last fall, they abruptly postponed their introduction. The tobacco companies had lobbied strongly against them. Earlier this month, CBC News reported that the provinces were told by Health Canada that plans for the new warning labels were being shelved.
The federal minister just made a pronouncement that this initiative that the provinces and the federal government have worked forward for 4 years, almost 5 years, was not going to move forward.
So why the about face today?
Where we should have been, we're a year late. But the only thing that makes sense to me is she's finally caving to the political pressure on this one.
Canada's largest tobacco company says the minister flip-flopped.
The health minister caved in the anti-tobacco groups, a handful of anti-tobacco groups that lobbied for her to focus on increasing health warnings on tobacco products.
The minister's reaction?
Absolutely not.
Either way, the new warning labels are now a go. At this Ottawa restaurant, workers feel it's a victory for their late colleague, Heather Crow. Doctors said her lung cancer was caused by second-hand smoke.
I'm dying. I never smoked a day in my life.
Heather would be very happy about that. It's something that she pushed very hard, and she'd be very happy about that.
The new warning labels, as well as a toll-free quit line for smokers and a social media campaign, are expected before the end of 2011. Anne-Marie?
Thanks, Leslie. Some of the photographs show Barb Tarbox, an Edmonton woman who died in 2003 at the age of 42. Tarbox was a smoker, but after being diagnosed with lung cancer, she became an anti-tobacco activist, speaking to young people across the country up until her death. Briar Stewart spoke with her family today.
It's a snapshot of a life on a deathbed. At age 42, anti-smoking crusader Barb Tarbox was a skeleton of her former self, her body ravaged by cancer.
It was a difficult time for her and everybody else that was there taking care of her.
Greg Southam took thousands of photos of Tarbox as she battled the disease. This photo was taken about a week before she died, an image that even rattled the photographer at first.
Even though I'd taken it just the day before, I couldn't bear I just could not deal with looking at Barb in that state.
Now it will soon be plastered on cigarette packages across the country, something her family has been fighting for.
It was kind of nice because it's been about 6.5 years of waiting for this moment.
Mackenzie Tarbox was 10 years old when her mother died. Now 17, she hopes her mother's image will make a difference.
They're much more personal than the photos that they've been using for the past 10 years. And I think it's more relatable because it's like my mom's photo.
And it represents a story many people know. In the final years of her life, Tarbox spoke to more than 50,000 students across Canada.
41 years of hair gone.
Today, some say they still remember.
It made me never want to smoke. Yeah, I just totally like the idea of that causing so much pain to yourself and to everyone around you is just not worth it.
Tarbox's message could soon reach people south of the border too. The Food and Drug Administration is considering using one of her graphic photos on cigarette packages in the United States. Briar Stewart, CBC News, Edmonton.
So is smoking on the decline in Canada? According to Health Canada, 25% of Canadians were smokers in 1999. By 2009, that number had dropped to 18%. And that's not the only number going down. Fewer people are lighting up inside homes with children. In 1999, 26% of Canadian children were exposed to secondhand smoke in their homes. In 2008, that dropped to 6%.